Merry Christmas, everyone. Mike Heck coming at you with the Hyperactive Hypercube build blog. Just catching up with where I'm at. I still haven't received all of the items from Banggood, but I do have the Y gantry. Hopefully, we'll have the X gantry, the pulley, or the bearings, smaller bearings than this, and the actual tooth belt here fairly shortly, hopefully by the end of this month. I had a few issues. The build plate is extremely heavy, and so I don't believe that a single NEMA stepper motor will be able to lift it effectively. It probably would lift it just fine, just not effectively. So I've modified the design. Unfortunately means breaking one of the things I was trying not to break, which is putting things outside of the main body of the Hyperactive Hypercube. So the Z motors and the Z stabilizers, which are these 8mm rods. The original design called for 12. I mistakenly misordered and got only 8s, so I decided to just run with it. These 8mm rods and the Z stepper motors will be outside of the main body of the Hypercube. What I'm going to end up doing, what I've actually ordered now, is I ordered 2 additional 8mm rods at the correct length. I have ordered a few more of these bearings, the slide bearings, those things, so that I can actually attach it to the build plate. And I have now 2 screws, threaded rods, on order from Amazon, so that I have a matched pair. I had bought one already from Banggood. It came, it looks fine. It's just, I want to make sure I have a matched pair because, quite frankly, I don't want to have one motor, causing it to go all wonky. And yes, that is a technical term. One of the things I am glad of is that I actually spent the time and cut that now non-usable build plate out of the side of the computer case, because what I found out is that when I had the bed leveling springs just pressing up against this insulation, which then is attached to the silicon heating mat, that I was actually putting a hole in the insulation no matter what I did. So this failed print bed is now going to be the thing underneath the insulation. So we've got this, the layer of insulation, then we've got the silicon heat pad, and then we have the thinnest version of a aluminum plate that I could get from Midwest Steel or Midwest Metals. I think it's going to work pretty well once I get everything put together. The thing that I cannot wait to get is the Y gantry. I can't wait to get that put together. That's going to be where the hot end actually is. The other thing that unfortunately happened is I ended up frying out one of the Big Tree Tech 1.3 SKR boards. I think that I have a problem with the proximity sensor that I'm using, where I believe it's pushing too much voltage back through the motherboard, and I'm going to be checking that with a multimeter or voltmeter when I get that. That's the other thing I've ordered from Amazon. All of that should come on Monday. So with that, I've redesigned the platform that the heat bed sits on. I've got that now more rigid. I've put a second crossbar. And I may even go for a third crossbar in there just to give it a little more strength. The problem is that the more material I add, of course, the heavier everything becomes. And I'm trying to avoid making it too terribly heavy. But with that, I believe that's the most update that I have. I've got everything mounted. I've got a cable management system in mind. I'm going to be using, of course, the wonderful friend of all 3D printers, zip ties, and split rigid tubing that I got from Home Depot in some cases, and that's going to be mainly for the XY, so that the Bowden tube is fed and kept up away from the print bed, and also so that the electronics, the wiring, doesn't go down to that. The rest of the wiring is going to be held in place, like I said, by zip ties, and I'm probably going to put it through the channels of the 2020 aluminum extrusion as a way to try to keep it looking neater. Other than that, I think that's all I've got for tonight. The goal is, of course, still within the first 2 months of the year, hopefully within the first month, but for sure within the first 2 months of the year, to have a test print ready. I need to take some time and really compare my configuration.h file with the config.h that Tech2C has for his actual printer. Once I do that, I'll be able to see where my differences lie and what I might be doing that's slightly different. I did also have to, sorry, I'm stream of consciousness here. That's how all of these go, and I apologize for it. I do also have a change to my bill of materials. I ended up having to purchase some Z-stop switches because the ones off the printer bot were just, they're old, and while they probably still work, I couldn't get them to function on board with the actual printer itself. So it's likely that they are of a different voltage or of a different, power consumption. And I don't have a multimeter yet. I'll have one by Monday. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. I believe I am approaching the cost of an upgraded Creality 10 at this point. I'm still going to be slightly below it based on the fact that I didn't have to buy NEMA stepper motors or the hot end. But it's getting close, and maybe I had hoped that it was going to be a much better money-saving option than it actually is turning out to be at this point. So I'll keep you up to date with that, and we'll give you totals when I'm all done and let you know how much this thing ended up running me. But I've done my best to keep it in budget, in a decent budget. So remember, stay safe, stay healthy. Hope that you're all having a good holiday, Yule, Christmas, whatever you're celebrating right now. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please drop them in the comments below. And hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'd be appreciated. Stay safe, stay healthy. Talk to you later.